Well, I think that, it's an understatement to say that we didn't play well offensively in the first half. And we will continue to address that. But I want to focus on the resilience and the grit our football team showed, because you're going to get in games when you're in competitive athletics at this level where things aren't going well. And if one side of your team, your defense in particular, and I can raise up and just, keep drawing a line and keep putting up a wall and fight the way they did, then you get a chance to fight through some of the things on offense that are hurting you and finally make a couple plays. And it's an understatement to say that Darrell's run wasn't huge. I mean, that was huge for us. We needed to get a lead the way our defense was playing. The interesting thing about Darrell's run is that the way he finished, all week in practice, that's what he did. When he broke free, he took it to the house. And they were usually 80, 85-yard runs because of where we were working on the field. Actually, yesterday morning in our Friday morning team meeting showed our team, Darrell, finishing on that run that he just scored on in the end zone on the right pylon, just like he did in the game. You look at Skyler making that great catch, and it doesn't surprise you at all to see Skyler do that, but it's just a sign of toughness, grit, belief, same thing. We looked at film yesterday morning as a team of our receivers too close at the end on that kickoff return. That's something that we've done well this year. I didn't see where the breakdown was, but there was an obvious breakdown, and we'll address that and get back to being who we are, because that's not acceptable. It made it too close, and we should have been putting the game away at that point in time. But just proud of our guys for not panicking, for not getting down. It was interesting at halftime. I usually bring them up and talk to them, and they had this thing going. I don't know what it was. They had some, we don't play music at halftime. They had some music going. They were jumping around, and next thing I know, they were just blowing by me to go out on the field. I mean, we went out on the field with about 5 minutes left, I think, in the halftime. So they just got themselves together, which to me is a sign of maturity. And I've talked about this team's maturity before, and I think we saw it today in a competitive game where we were not playing well on offense. We found a way to get it done. So that's something we'll grow from.
Did you have an idea of how good Darrell was when you were looking at him? When did you kind of figure out that you had something to do the things he's done?
We liked him on film, but there was it was very limited reps, that we could really evaluate him. He was a redshirt freshman still. He's young. But when he got here, he had a certain type of energy and enthusiasm to him. And then as he started to learn our scheme, you'd see it in practice, him just breaking things and making plays. And then as we've gone through the season, you guys have seen he's made plays, and he's not, the things that are impressive, obviously the long one, but just the determination on some of those where he's grinding it out and pulling people to get the first down, or staying in bounds and trying to deliver blows down the field. And I think he's a talented young man, and our team feeds off of his energy, and they feed off of Cam Edwards' toughness, that run that he had. I mean, he's dog tough, DAWG. He's got dog in him, and I love that. So it's fun to have guys like that on your football team. And I'll go back to this, I looked at them at halftime, the offense, everyone was really calm, and there was a determination, and there was a maturity, and they knew they were in a fight, and they knew they weren't playing well, and they found a way to pull it together.
Jim, I asked you earlier in the week about third down offense, but third down defense has been one of the best in the country. It's 2 for 16 today. I guess just what makes your team better, or maybe not better, but makes it so good this year?
First and second down, getting them into third and long. I mean, I know that's coach speak, but it's really true. And then when we have been in some third and shorter situations, we've done a pretty nice job. And I don't know where we, rank statistically, but I know that my gut feeling is we're pretty good on third and short. I think that Matt and the defensive staff do a really good job of scheming protections, scheming coverages up to take things away, but then it's the players that go out on the field and make it happen. And, when you have success, you gain some confidence, obviously. Now, last week we weren't very good on third down, so we got back at it this week. And, that's something that we have to continue to be good at these next 4 weeks.
Obviously, Darrell's run gave you a start, but how important, how good is it to see that the defense comes up and gets a stop, and then I think 2 possessions later, again, that you kept the momentum going to get the
Well, it was big. I mean, the whole energy on the sideline was different when we came out at halftime or after half. But I mean, momentum, we've talked about momentum in a season, what I don't really believe in, but momentum in a game I do believe in. And we captured some momentum. Now, when they return that kick, oh, geez, what the heck's going on here? But, being able to grasp momentum and capitalize on it and build on it, that's important. And then the other thing that's important is that if another team gets momentum on you, is to not to freak out, to be able to stymie it. And I think we're able to do that right now.
Do you think there were a few opportunities for some interceptions?
Oh, yeah, several.
How do you coach?
There's a reason they're DBs, right? If they just had great hands, they'd be over on offense. I say that jokingly, but sometimes I don't know that we had clean drops. We had some really nice pass breakups.
There were some that looked like they just never looked back at the ball.
Well, that might be the case, yeah. I have to look at the film. You guys you have a better vantage point than I do there. But I thought that they played the ball well in the air and at least got it on the ground. And, that's important.
Anything else for Coach?
Yeah, how much did the wind play in on offense and defense? Did you kind of take a posture of trying to make them throw it because of the wind, or do you think they were doing that?
Nah, you know what? It's interesting, Dom. When you're throwing the football, the wind doesn't seem like a big deal. It's more the kicking game that I was worried about. And so, the decision at halftime was which way do you want to start? Because if it comes down to a field goal game, you want to be kicking with the wind. But we chose to take the win in the third quarter because we were down 3. Our defense was playing well, and we needed to get something going. And even if it got to a point where we could kick a field goal and make it 3-3 in the third quarter, to me that was really important. But the wind was. It wasn't something that we talked about with the players, but it was something that, and I didn't talk about it with Gordy, but I mean, it was something that I was obviously very, very conscious of.
I'm going to ask you about Dow, too. He broke through the line. He had like 3 or 4.
Yeah, I heard.
And Jelani, I think, had 1, 2, but just those guys up front, how important are they to your whole operation?
They're just awesome. I mean, they're awesome kids, young men, first of all. They're both just great people. They're hardworking. They work as hard as anyone I've ever been around. Well, pretty close. They're in the top 10. It means something to them. It's really important to them. They've both made huge strides as football players in the time that, that I've been able to watch them, and especially this year. I think that the thing that has been very helpful is the scheme that we've got them in now. It accentuates what they do best. It lets them play to their strengths. So, and then they've embraced their role, and they see that it's helped them become better football players. Both of those guys, they're a big part of it. And then having Price back is huge, and you have to be able to rotate guys on your defensive line in order to stay fresh, and we're able to do that right now. Now we lost Simon with a little ankle. Hopefully he's back next week, but that we've got some depth there now.
So we have a chance next week to get win number 6 here at home. How much is that going to play into your messaging of the team this week?
It will not. It will not, because what we have to focus on, Dom, is doing everything we can to win the game, and if we do that and give ourselves a chance, well, that's just gravy. But I've always felt like it's dangerous to look ahead. You hear that word that everyone throws around, the process, follow the process. Well, I don't really use that term, but I believe that there's a way that you win a game, and it's by the work you do during the week, the details that you pay attention to, and the mindset that you create. And if we start thinking about number 6 rather than just, hey, this 1-0 this week, the very first play of the game, and how do we get ourselves to the point where we are prepared to go out and play our best, that's the most important thing we can do. Thanks, everyone.